think in terms of strategy for pharma and biotech firms, then you need to think in terms of three axes. And the first axis that needs to be taken into consideration is the axis of precision and convergence. And what I mean by precision and convergence is the following. Companies today have the ability to develop drugs in such a way that they will be much more precise than the drugs that have been developed during the past decades. Which means that we are still far away from personalized medicine, but we are very close to much more precise medicine. And this is one part of the strategy that companies will need to take into consideration, the fact that they will need to develop much more precise medicines. This is linked to what I would call convergence. And convergence is a combination of different scientific disciplines. Years ago, drugs have been developed in terms of identifying or discovering a new molecule. Today, it's not only about a molecule, it's about a molecule and a diagnostic or a medical device. And that means that not only pharmacologists and toxicologists and MDs will be part of drug development, but also engineers and the physical sciences. So this is one axis that actually drives the strategy of a biotech firm. The second axis along which strategy will be linked, in fact, is closely related to the first strategy, because drugs will be much more precise. They will be used for smaller communities of patients, subpopulations of patients. And this, of course, will drive the prices very high. And this is what we currently see. Prices of drugs, even generic drugs, increased tremendously or have increased tremendously over the past years. And this is linked to the second part of that second axis of strategy, which is reputation building. Because pharma companies have struggled with their reputation tremendously over the past years. If we would look to pharma companies 3 decades ago, then we would see that some of these companies actually find themselves at the top of the most respected firms. Today, they are absolutely at the bottom of reputation. So if companies will be able to develop more precise drugs because of convergence, then these drugs will become highly priced, but then there will be a message that will need to be conveyed to society, to public, about why is this price high? Can we explain this high price for this drug? Which means that it will become part of reputation building. The third axis is also linked to that, and the third axis is linked to patients. Patients will be treated with much more effective medicines, but they will also need to be involved in the actual drug development, which means that as today, some of the best firms actually involve patient advocacy groups in their drug development processes in order to understand the need of patients, in order to make drugs and develop drugs which are not only precise but specifically suited in line with the expectations of the patients. And this is also linked to a second part of the third axis, which is risk management. Because drugs will be much more precise, will be very effective, they will be launched earlier on the market. But if you launch drugs earlier on the market, they may show some side effects that you would not see if you would develop drugs to a much more mature phase, which means that these companies will also be able or will need to be able to manage risk as part of the drug development process and as part of launching a new drug. So if you take all these factors together, precision and convergence, reputation and pricing, patients and risk, then it's absolutely clear that those who will lead those firms will be a special type of people. They will be of very high caliber in order to manage and lead the complexities, in order to build the reputation of those firms, and to make sure that they are willing and open to involve patients in their drug development programs.